Hey guys, what's up? This is Z.A.K here, and today I kind of have my little Harbor Freight episode and what I kind of think about Harbor Freight tools. So let's begin. I've actually heard a lot about Harbor Freight. I've heard both good and both bad. I've heard people say stuff like on different YouTube channels I'm subscribed to, that Harbor Freight's pretty trash and their tool quality isn't good at all, and you should probably not buy from Harbor Freight. But there are actually some good tools there, and if you have a look around their shop, you can find some great deals on some nice tools. So if you go walk around a store, let's say Fleet Farm if you live where I do, or Menards or Home Depot, you're gonna walk around and find clamps like these for like $20. Now this clamp, I can't remember how long it is. It's around 20 to 30 inches, with the bar going out here, and it's just too expensive if you go to a store like Home Depot. And then the soldering helping hand, I haven't seen these anywhere, but I think I've seen a few someplace for like $10. Don't quote me on that, but definitely paid way less at Harbor Freight for this. And then heat shrink tubing, you guys all in the hobby know how cheap that can be for your RCs, but this stuff gets even cheaper at Harbor Freight. This stuff is really long. My hands are huge, so that's how big my hand is. And it's 89 cents for all this heat shrink tubing. And I could use this for about maybe half a year with all the RC soldering I do with all like my 10 plus RC cars. And finally in the back there is their soldering irons, which I have a 180 watt industrial soldering iron. That thing can go up to 1,000 degrees and it works really well. Um, all these products on the table here work amazing. This clamp, if I didn't say it, was $2, and it's really, really good clamp. It works amazing. I use it all the time, here and there, and it works good. It helps you put clamp things onto the table so you don't accidentally drill through your finger, like I did a while back, which some of my friends know about me, but I actually did drill through my finger while making an RC project. And this clamp will add some safety, and it'll be better for general use of just clamping things down. And then the helping hand here was $5 or something like that, $3, I can't remember, but it was pretty cheap at Harbor Freight. And basically anything that's not electric there at Harbor Freight, and you just go and you pick it off the shelf and you look at it, chances are it's a good tool. Like this, I mean, there's no way this is gonna like burn out or because it's not electric, and it's got a magnifying glass which I barely use for soldering. But these two clamps here really help to put wires together, clamp a plug like a Dean's or a Traxxas in while you clamp the wire, and you tin and you do all that stuff with your huge soldering gun, which I have. If I had a soldering iron, I probably wouldn't need this necessarily, but with that heavy big soldering gun that you have to hold with one hand, it's totally heavier than a soldering iron or like a pencil shaped soldering iron. This thing's awesome. You can rotate it all around uh, with the help of these little thumb screws and clamps and stuff. It works great. It's made out of metal entirely and has foam on the bottom. I mean, it's probably built out of cheap material, but this thing will do all the work I need it to do. Then right here, the heat shrink tubing, like I said, 89 cents. Heat shrink tubing, all it needs to do is to shrink well and entirely wrap an open-ended wire, and this stuff does the job. It protects the wires and it shrinks. Now this heat shrink here, this big black one, well, I don't know, but you could probably guess by how large it is I put this over some thin wire and it shrinks really tight around it. And that kind of tells you something, that this is pretty decent heat shrink, and you get about a 12 inches worth of it with every single piece. Well, actually it's 3.5. Yeah, it is 12 inches. I just guessed that and then I just looked at it. But yeah, it's 12 inches. And then this is what I'm really happy about. The Harbor Freight Chicago Electric Welding 180 watt industrial soldering iron. If you could guess how much I paid for this now, stop and leave it in the comments section. Or if you already have it, then I guess you'd know already. But I paid $13 for this soldering iron. And my welder I got before lasted 2 years. It just died the other day. I almost killed myself because of all the sparks coming out of that outlet right there. I actually burnt out the right one and the middle one. I can only use the left one because the two wires that go from the plug to the inside of the iron touched each other, and that's right inside the soldering iron, and it's shocked, which is right up in here in the welder. But here's the Chicago Electric welding soldering iron. It's very similar. It's got only one setting though, which is a really heavy setting, which is 1,000 degree setting. It's got a nice big LED. It's not as junky as the welder, which is just a bulb. This one's protected with some sort of screen here. And the LED is deep in there, which you can see. It's attached to a circuit board. It's not as good of a quality as of an LED, but it's protected better, which I like. Then the tip here, it doesn't use set screws. It actually screws on and off, so the design is pretty good. And it lasts pretty long time with these tips, and this tip I've just put on there from the beginning after I tried this tip out, and it lasts pretty long. And this tool works great. I mean, compared to the $30 welder, this $13 Chicago Electric iron works amazing. And also a product that's not here but I know works well is my welding class at school. We use Lincoln Electric and Chicago Electric tools and stuff like that, and some other stuff from Harbor Freight, like the welding helmets and stuff, and the MIG pliers and all the goodies, and probably all the welding stuff you could find at Harbor Freight, and that stuff works amazing. Those welders have probably been there for about a decade at that school, or I don't know how long, but they look pretty old, and they work amazing. And I gotta say, I do a really good job welding in that class. I have an A on all of them, and all I could say for my review of those is those welders are amazing. I'd pick some up, especially the sticks, which are the ones I got scored the highest on. Those stick welders from Harbor Freight are pretty great, especially for $100 for the cheapest one. When I was there last, it was on sale, but you can pick some of those up pretty cheap, and they work awesome. So yeah, guys, that is kind of my review of my thoughts of Harbor Freight. Obviously, I just picked these items up a few days ago, and I don't have a lot to say about them yet. I am pretty surprised about the soldering iron. It did just as well as my welder did, and hopefully it'll last just as long as the welder, or longer. And I'm also surprised at the quality of this clamp here. It works amazing. This helping hand actually works awesome, and the heat shrink I'm blown away with. 89 cents for like 10 pieces, and that's 12 inches a piece, so that's 120 inches of heat shrink tubing. And I got 2 bags of this, and now I have like 240 inches of heat shrink tubing. So yeah, guys, comment, rate, subscribe, and go check out your local Harbor Freight if you have one. If you don't, then try to find other good deals, I guess, but Harbor Freight's the best you can get. So see you later, guys.